Eden. Prologue. Part 1. A lonely white cube floats in the endless white. On top of it are two men, Sun and Spider. Spider kneels over the cube's edge, observing the horizon, his crimson eyes darting around, searching for something hiding in the stretching horizon of nothingness. "So what happens now?" asked the sunny man behind him. Spider doesn't respond and remains fixated in the distance. There was nothing around as far as the eye could see except for them. Sun knew he couldn't possibly have gone unheard. He reaches out, planning to tap on Spider's shoulder. "Hey, Now we wait," he finally answers. Sun retracts, puzzled that his partner seemed so indifferent thus far. He goes over his memory, looking for something he might have said or done to upset him, but couldn't think of anything. Why would his teammate have such a bitter disposition? He wondered. "Spider, It's coming." Spider jolts back on his feet, clasping his sword's scabbard and handle with each hand. Sun could see the predatory certainty in Spider's frowned gaze. He investigates the same direction, seeing nothing but the same bland, dazing white. However fast it happened, it was too fast for Sun to perceive it. Before he could react, out from the whiteness a dark tendril impacts the cube. The violent crash launches Sun upwards. Still trying to collect his posture mid-air, Sun observes how Spider expertly uses his sword to stay in place. The extended dark material snaps back to where it landed, slithering on top of itself until it takes shape. To Spider, it was a familiar one, an impish little creature, just small enough to be hard to grasp, but sharp enough to cause serious injuries. Its red eye glistens upon its prey. "This is a grief." "Grief," Sun whispers to himself as to better memorize it. It pounces at Spider, claws extended, ready for the catch. "Spider, watch out!" Sun shouts. Unbothered, Spider clicks his sword out from the scabbard, and Sun nearly misses what happens next. A red flash occurs, and the viscous goblin is gone. Nothing but a shapeless splat of foamy ink, soon to be completely evaporated. The red orb remains, once shimmering with thirst for violence, now faded and perfectly sliced in half. All of that happens as the breeze starts to come down. Sun nearly crashes with it, still perplexed by what he witnessed. Without control of his own lips, he exhales an audible "whoa." "It's not over," Spider warns, and another one sprouts. He sheathes his sword. The fiend jumps, and Spider effortlessly dodges. It lands between them, facing Sun. "Now you take care of it." Sun twitches in fear, but flinches back into stupid bravery. He pounds on his chest and harumphs, "Come at me, ugly clod!" And it does. Sun is confident that one well-aimed punch will do. Whereas his partner had a slender body, he was made with bulging, sinewy arms that must be strong, right? He thinks to himself. How else is he supposed to defend? No time to decide. The fiend is almost on top of him. He aims his fist straight into that big red ball of a head. It's going to make contact. Spider stops him. When did he get so close? Spider stands barely an inch away from his face. The monster squirms, hanging from the tip of the blade. The body dissolves, and the pierced core crumbles into shards. "What?" Sun whispers unconsciously once more. Spider looks deep into his eyes, maybe for the first time since they met. A deathly stare like the beast itself. "Do not," he pauses, "let them touch you." "What happens if it touches me?" There is an uncomfortable silence. Spider grips the handle of his weapon tightly. There's more coming. There was an unusual urgency to his tone that made Sun very worried. "Are you serious?" In this very moment, the ground breaks apart as an enormous tentacle erupts, towering over them. It was an amalgamation of several of the little creatures, some dropping out of its goopy dark mass, a threatening sight, bright with the light of countless red eyes. Tch, forget about it. Spider withdraws his sword, tossing the scabbard aside. Run, he orders Sun, without looking back at him. Not a chance, he shouts back. Sun would be lying if he said he wasn't terribly intimidated, but the thought of leaving his partner behind in a dangerous situation was something he couldn't live with. Spider groans an exasperated sigh, his anger becoming a visible aura, particles around him moving in increasing agitation. Whips of electricity spark around his feet. You are useless. The quiet hiss echoes thunderously within Sun. He felt like being stabbed by his very blade. The skyscraping abomination tumbles down. Sun snaps out of his hurt and jumps back evasively. The impact hits the cube with Spider right at its center. The force is brutal enough to set the entire cube in motion. It rotates, its surface turning steeper and steeper. Sun reaches out for the edge. The same spot where Spider kneeled over is now upwards as the tip of a pyramid. He makes it, just barely. His body hits against the cliff's wall, soon to become a flat surface. He peeks over the cliff and observes several red flashes blinking across the giant worm. The creature explodes, creating a bloody waterfall. Spider leaps out of it, soaked and unscathed. He runs against the wall upwards to the surface, still cloaked in that vicious aura. He is followed by several remaining imps. "Fool! What are you still doing here?" he grunts loudly. Sun would pummel any grief with his bare hands if it came down to it, but his partner's disapproval overwhelmed him with dread. His remarks had a sharpness that could be felt physically, and at that point Sun was reaching his limit. The little demons crawl rapidly up the wall, flinging at Spider. He counterattacks. It's only a matter of time until one of those hit him. Sun makes a literal leap of faith and dives towards Spider, who watches his feat of boldness. "Are you insane? What are you doing?" "I want to help!" Sun's mark around his navel glows. It projects a light that funnels, becoming shaped as a handle. He grips it, pulls it out, and a sword materializes. Sun's sword. It is long, wide, sharp on both sides, and feels quite heavy in his grasp. He is dazzled by its might. So was Spider. Sun could feel the warmth wash over him from the palm of his hands, invigorating him with confidence. He instinctively points it downwards at the swarm chasing Spider, and a beam of light is unleashed from the golden claymore. The energy was all-powerful. It pulverizes the horde of monsters and a good portion of the cube. It would have also taken Spider's life if he hadn't maneuvered safely out of the way. Spider clings against the wall and takes in the damage that Sun had done. Finally, he thinks to himself, Sun had awoken his abilities at last. That's why both got paired up in the first place. This means Sun would soon be able to pull his own weight, and Spider could return to his lonely patrols. There's a moment of relief, but it's gone when he notices Sun, still in constant descent, completely unconscious. "Damn it," he grunts. Spider builds up speed and darts towards Sun, catching him with enough momentum to raise both to the surface. He drops his body against the floor. Ugh! Sun wakes up. Ow! What happened? You saved me. Sun frowns. Did he get that right? Huh, sorry, I hit my head. For a moment there, I thought I heard you say I saved you. There is another uncomfortable silence, a longer one. Sun chuckles nervously. This is new, he thinks to himself. Seems like as good opportunity as any to strike real conversation. Hey, I just wanted to... Ah! Sun was interrupted by a sting on the sole of his foot. There it was, the recognizable dark material, this time shaped like a drill, poking through. It digs back into the ground, leaving a gaping hole in his foot. Spider... Ah! Spider turns and sees the gashing injury, the oily blackness rapidly spreading upwards, soon to completely take over Sun's body. Spider hisses to himself, "Damn it, this cube's infected." Sun, collapsed to the ground, holds on to his leg while it immerses in complete agony. He could feel the burning beneath, as if his skin was melting off, his insides freezing to crystal and crumbling. Sun wanted to plead for help, but could only groan and contort in pain. Another sharp sting, and the pain stops. Sun's leg now lies detached from his body, swiftly sliced out by Spider, an inch away from where the infection had spread. Both watch as the limb crumbles to ash, taken by a gust of wind in a matter of seconds. There it went. Sun's leg was gone, but the pain had ceased. He could only think of his entire body turning to speckles of dust floating through this cursed place if Spider were just a moment too late. "Thank you for saving me." Spider looks into his eyes again. "We're even." He sheathes his blade, kneels toward Sun and wraps his arms around him. He lifts Sun up and tosses him over the shoulder. "Oh wow! Your arms are stronger than I thought. You know, I can walk with just one..." "Shut up. Rest. You're going back to the temple." "Okay." Spider hops off the cube. As they fall, Sun looks at the enormous splat of blood still dripping from its walls. They keep falling and falling and falling. "Is it always dangerous like this?" "Yes." "Is my leg ever going to recover?" "Yes." Did... Sun gulps with some hesitancy. "Did one of those things ever touch you?" "Yes." "Really? Oh. At least you're fine, right?" There it was again, that haunting silence. Sun inspected his partner for scars or injuries. All limbs were there. His perspective was compromised, upside down over Spider's shoulder, his face right down to his derriere. "You look fine to me." "You're so good with that sword. You were dominating them." "I want to be powerful like you." "Is that how you see me?" "Yes." "Then you really are a fool," he scoffs. "Prepare yourself. I see a portal." Spider spots a new floating platform, this one with a square-shaped light coming from the center of its wall. It projects out a soft pink glow. It rings melodiously. Sun yelps as he's thrown. Spider pushes him again with a surprising strength, and he's launched into the portal. "What do you mean?" Hi guys, it's me, Big Mac. Thank you for listening to the audio narration of Eden Prologue Part 1. If you'd like to... Can you not? If you'd like to see Part 2, there's many ways you can express it. You can like and subscribe, you can leave a comment and share, and you can become a Patreon, so I can keep paying my rent and fending off starvation and crippling depression and creating fun stuff, gay stuff for everyone. But seriously, let me know if you like this. I know my voice isn't the most silkiest, smoothest, ooh la la ASMR melody thing out there, But as I make it obvious on a daily basis, I am a struggling and starting artist. I don't have money to pay voice actors. Plus, to be quite frank, I have a problematic case of if you want to do something right, you gotta do it yourself. But that's a topic for another video. If you enjoy it, I will gladly keep working on these. Writing the story is a long and arduous process because I really want it to be deep and perfect. And with no plot holes and grave contrivances. It has an amazing cast, right, of memorable characters, but most of all, it's the story and the message that matters most to me. I figured since people rarely have time to sit and read, this would be the best way to divulge the story in a digestible format before it can be finally turned into a comic, game, and who knows, maybe an animation. Don't fucking challenge me, I will put Eden on the big screen, okay? I just need the means, if you know, the time, just need the time. I know, right? You all just seen, like, the first part of the prologue, and you're like, look at this motherfucker ripping off Steven Universe, talking about his IP like he's the shit. But I promise you, stick around. Yes, Eden is very much a homage to all my references that I've collected in my 30 years of being a fucking geek. But I promise you, it's an experience that is unlike any other. It's... bitch. Wigs are gonna fly, teas are gonna scald. Everybody's gonna get cancelled for a year. You can read everything up to chapter 3 by becoming a Patreon or getting the packages at Gumroad. If you haven't already watched the launch trailer, okay, it's very relevant. Hello, hello. And once again, thanks for listening. Let me know what you think of it, if you want more or not. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye! If you'd like to see part 2, let me, okay. If you enjoyed these, I would gladly work. If you enjoyed, I will. Say bye, Mia. Say bye. 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 You're such a whiny baby, oh my god.